there are a lot of factors that contribute to boys why they can't read, especially when they are diagnosed or labeled as ADHD or learning disabilities. So that is what my book really about. It investigates the art and craft of teaching boys how to read in terms of a universal design for learning and a skill-based approach.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the SelfSeed podcast, and today we are on episode 37, and I have Yassine Simpson Coburn with me, and she is going to introduce her book. She's going to share a little bit of her experience as what pushed her to write the book, and we're going to know some facts about her book, and I hope you'll enjoy today's episode. Remember that the SelfSeed podcast is available on all major platforms, so subscribe whenever you can. And on another note, this is almost the end of the virtual book tour, and Yassine will be concluding the virtual book tour for us, and I hope you can enjoy this final episode of the virtual book tour 2024. Welcome, Yassine, and I'm happy to have you on the podcast.
Okay, good morning. Thanks for having me. It's a privilege and honor to be here doing this podcast and introduce you to my book. Well, as you know, I'm a special educator for over 10 decades now. I'm teaching as varying exceptionalities at the Northwestern Legend Elementary School in Jacksonville, Florida, USA. And my experience in teaching this book, teaching boys, and how do I get to be at this point in writing a book about boys? Because I realized in the education system, teachers, educators have been struggling with boys, especially given the first-hand knowledge and experience of teaching boys as a special trained teacher. Well, I realized that boys, they come with different challenges, especially with reading, and they struggle with reading a lot, right? So I decided, it was out of a curious mind, to do a research and how boys, different strategies as how boys learn to read. Well, at the time that I chose to do it, it was on the brink of COVID-19, when the COVID-19 just came out. So it pushed educators like myself from a physical classroom setting to a virtual world. So I was here wondering, how could I teach my boys, or can I get my students engaged, especially boys, because it's mostly boys I taught. So I know that they have a learning problem, especially reading. So I began to do extensive research on the strategies how boys learn, how the brain work, or boys' brain work as well. But at that particular time, when I chose to do that research, I was doing this mentorship program with Jamaica Teaching Council at the time. So it was one of the tasks that required of us mentors at that time was to engage in an action research. So I chose my topic and the application of evidence-based strategies to enhance boys' reading skill in the learning environment. So I sat there and thinking, why I have so much information. I did action research, it was completed and it was marked, right? So I sat there saying to myself, oh, what can I do with this information? So actually, then a book came to my mind. But at the time, I was embarking at different things at the time. So there I started to procrastinate a little bit, try to put it off, because I'm saying that I really want to explore the world of special education students. So, and therefore, I began to embark on a new adventure where it brought me here in the United States. So I get the opportunity to see what was the IEP like, what was in terms of special education students, how it unfolds, how they become eligible, what process it takes, right?
Hmm.
But because normally in Jamaica we do individualized um, intervention plan instead of individualized education plan, because it's more of a legal based document here in the United States, the IEP. So there's a lot of distraction that comes with this journey. So then I stepped back and said, looking back, going back to my experience of teaching boys, because now I'm at a school where it's more significantly low in terms of academic,
Right.
right? So I wanted to know, because there's effective strategies that I've utilized in Jamaica, which I wanted to transfer here, because my students were very successful. My boys were very successful because went on, they mastered their grade 4 performance task. And that was a plus for me. So then I look back at the research and say, what evidence-based strategy did I use to get them there in order? Because I've take boys from non-reader to grade 4 level,
Right.
grade 3 level in terms of reading abilities. So then I realized there's boys learn differently. There are a lot of factors that contribute to boys why they can't read, especially when they're diagnosed or labeled as ADHD or learning disabilities. So that is what my book really about. It investigates the art and craft of teaching boys how to read in terms of a universal design for learning and a skill-based approach. In that book, you will see different factors that contribute to boys' learning, how the brain works for boys as well, what are some societal conditions that affects boys' learning, as well as the different type of instructions, the strategies, the most effective strategies that have research or that have evidence-based that I've also utilized, as well as it's a mixture of everything. It's a multi approach I have taken. What I did in that book is for teachers that were struggling, especially for those boys that are in the regular classroom, or you call it mainstream, as well as for special educators. Because what I've put in that book is a scope and sequence that break it down, the skill set that they need from simple to complex. So it consists of mostly the 5 pillar of early literacy skill, especially phonological awareness skill, that I realized that most of my boys, they have a gap in that aspect. Phonological awareness skill, that is oral language skills. And during my research, I've realized that the reason why boys have this phonological gap is because of all the brain, what side of the brain develop first when baby is born. Because research has said that boys' brain tend to develop on the right side first, while girls' brain tend to develop on the left side. And what the right side brain consists of is more spatial, mechanical, as well as graphic reasoning as well. More visual, right, for boys. While girls is more with the left side, it contains more language, as well as more oral. So that is why girls speak quickly than boys. So those are what my book is all about, as well as it consists of a variety of things. It's multimedia resources. It's explicit. It's systematic. It's instructional. It is intensified, as well as it's differentiated. Because the art of teaching any kids, I realize, is using multisensory approach, which it connects to your visual, auditory, visual, tactile. That is a universal approach that I've taken to teach my boys. So, and I also want to let others know that it is, even teaching boys, probably kind of challenging, especially when they have behavioral problems, but all is not lost, because it takes multiple approaches to teach boys. The sit and get approach won't work, as well as you have to do as educators. We tend to, a little lay back at times and saying that it's difficulties, it's challenges. But if we do a lot of research, be strategic, be consistent, be committed, as well as take a lot of patience, it will get us where we are, because children learn differently, especially boys. Boys are more visually kinesthetic, right? So they're always on the go as well. So if you have I know the challenge, because what my students have taught me back in Jamaica and here is how to normalize difficulties. Well, in order to normalize difficulties in the classroom, mean there are times that you're gonna do a lesson and it comes out well. You have another time that you plan a lesson so well that it goes down low, or it doesn't go good at all. And you said that what went wrong. But what my boys have taught me over the years, that first, my good moments are my good days, are my glow days. All right. Then my bad days are my growth days, because those are the days that I would have to go back to the drawing board, look at the data, what I'm not implementing, also make certain adjustments in order to help them achieve those, or narrow those reading gaps,
right,
as well. Okay. So basically, I always do a lot of self-reflection, because as a teacher, you have to do a lot of self-reflection, because that will lead you to a path of wisdom and growth. It also will lead you to consistency, as well as always implementing and strategically planning, because that is how you're gonna get boys, especially because boys really need a structured environment in order to be successful. There are always additional factors. When I'm in the classroom, I don't worry about when it comes. I want parents to contribute, yes, but at the same time, I don't worry about that, because it's something that you can't control at times. Parental involvement, you can't control parent involvement, because you have to just do what you're supposed to do as a teacher. And yes, you want parents to get involved more actively when it comes to kids learn, especially those who have special needs, yes, or especially boys. But you can't force them, because for me, I have good relationships with my parents, and in order to do that, I have to do it so in such a way that I speak to my parents on individual terms, collectively. I always want their input. So sometimes I call them one-on-one, and you have parents who tell you that, look, miss, I'm not so hot with the reading, but at the same time, you know what your doing, as well as giving them the support. When they communicate those things with you, you know what kind of support you can give your parents in order to help their child. So my experience in working with boys, it was it is a successful one, as well as basically, yes, still doing my best with them as well, and see that they reach their full potential. But what it's gonna take a multidisciplinary approach to really get boys in order. So that is the reason, some of the factors why I wrote this book.
Thank you very much for sharing that, and thank you for summarizing the book for us and for the listener. And hopefully the link will be attached to the video on how people can get your book. And I think you're doing a great job as an educator, helping a specific group of people or of children, and showing them that it is possible. And despite of the fact that you might be a slow learner or a late learner, but yes, it is possible to gain the same like kids sometimes feel like they're not intelligent enough and so on, but actually maybe it's just a different learning. I did one episode and it's about just different learning techniques, helping them rediscover the better way to grasp things and understand things. And in general, it's you're doing a great job in helping them create a better way on which they deal with life in the future. So great job that you're doing there, and maybe you can share how things. Go on.
Yes, and for teaching with kids with special needs on a whole is so exciting, so fascinating, because the fact that they wants to learn too, but sometimes not every teachers are equipped to teach those set of kids, because it can be frustrated in the classroom as well to teach those kids, because if you don't know the right method, sometimes that's why I always embark on researching, because there's no one strategy to teach kids with special needs. So it requires multiple strategies, combination of strategies. Some will work, don't get me, some will work, while some will not, because you have to revisit. And all it's based on, once you use data to drive your instruction, I think you're not gonna have so much problem. Once you're using the data on a consistently basis, then it will guide you as to what planning, what strategical way you're gonna plan your lesson. Because remember, I said that boys need a structured environment. They also need relationship building.
Right.
Because once you build a relationship with boys, trust me, you get the best out of them, no matter what. So relationship building is the key. Being consistent as a teacher, doing a lot of resources, creative, structural lesson plan, because lesson plan is important, right? And your physical classroom, your layout of the classroom is also important as well. So, and they can follow me on Special Guru Instagram. That is my page. Also, it's on YouTube too as well. So, yeah, those are my two pages that I use for now.
Thank you very much, and I hope the listener got it. You said Special Guru, right?
Yes, Special Guru. At Special Guru. That is my Instagram.
That's a good name. But yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for those.
As well as my.
Right. Thank you to those who have tuned in today, and I hope you enjoyed the whole journey of the virtual book tour. And this is the last episode of the virtual book tour. Don't forget to let me know what you think about the podcast episode, and rather more about the whole virtual book tour. And This is Emmanuel, and today I had Yassine Simpson Coburn here with me, and she shared about her book. Can you mention the
Thank you
book
for
title
having
again
me.
one more time?
The Art and Craft of Teaching Boys to Read, a universal design for learning and a
Mhm.
skill-based interactive approach.
That's very good. That's very good. So it's just the art and craft of teaching boys. So we know that the boys might be late learners, but yeah, they are great. So thank you very much for sharing this, and I hope you enjoyed on today's episode. And thank you for sharing awesome insights. Until next time, to the listener,
Thank you for
enjoy.
having me.
I hope to hear you on the next episode, and I hope to hear your thoughts furthermore about the podcast. And thank you very much, and have a lovely day.